Good day, Doctor. We are Group 3 and this is the presentation of our case study analysis 2 with the title of A Guideline to Successful 4IR Project Management. I'm Irene Wong Ziqing and my teammates are Anke Wei, Lo Wei Zing, and Wong Wan Ni. First, what makes a successful 4IR project management? Here we have shown a project management triangle. This triangle illustrates the relationship between the three primary forces in a project. The time means the available time to deliver the project, the cost means the amount of money or resources available, and the quality means the fit to purpose that the project must achieve to be a success. So, a successful project needs to be delivered on time, to budget, and delivering the correct functionality. The normal situation is that one of these factors is fixed or sacrificed so that the project can focus on the other two variables. For example, if we want the project to be fast and good quality, then we have to sacrifice the cost variable, which means more expensive costs will be needed in order the project can be succeeded. It is also important to do the financial analysis of project to ease the decision-making process. The three primary methods for determining the projected financial value are the net present value, NPV, return on investment, which is the ROI, and the payback analysis. Since this proposed project has not any solid budget plan yet, so we will not go in detail for this part. Overall, the NPV is to calculate the expected net monetary gain or loss from a project. Normally, the higher the NPV, the better. The ROI is to measure the probability of getting a return from an investment. So it is also the higher the ROI, the better. And finally, the payback analysis is for us to calculate or determine the payback period for an investment. So unlike the previous two, is the lower the better, means that the investment money can be paid back in the shorter period. Next, another critical factor of a successful project is to do the SWOT analysis. It is a strategic planning technique which we use to evaluate a company's competitive position and to develop strategic planning of the project in terms of company strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. The company in our case, we have chosen Tesco, and the project we propose is EcoBag, which will be further explained in the next slide. For now, basically, EcoBag is a reward program to encourage the use of recycled bag. First, for Tesco Strange is a powerful retail brand and it has a very secure position in the global market. With the application of EcoBag, we may gain benefits in the revenue stream, like we can reduce the material cost of plastic bag for Tesco, we could attract more sales by the reward program, and we can even attract advertisers to use this EcoBag platform for advertising. The weakness of Tesco that we have identified is dependable on United Kingdom business, is a foreign brand in Malaysia and has to adapt to local market, followed by the burden of higher advertisement costs. Next, for the opportunities we can see for the application of EcoBag, we could attract the recycle communities in using our application or recycle companies to collaborate with us. We might also get the support from the government programs to promote our application for recycling. And also we found that there is redundant of IT solution support company that we can approach and together discuss and design an IT solution for better implementation for our project. Finally, the threats we could think of for this EcoBag application is the low public awareness to the recycling. Although this is a good practice, but people might easily forget to use such an application because they are already so used to using plastic bags, and the cost to use plastic bags is really cheap. We believe that public awareness is critical to our project. So in this slide, we're going to introduce our proposed 4IR project further. We propose EcoBag application to be promoted in Tesco. The users can register our app and get free recycle bag from Tesco. Let's say if the users have too many recycle bags, they can just scan the QR code to return the bag and then the return transaction will be recorded. Every time when users use their own recycle bag in Tesco or return extra bags for recycling, they can earn points with their good practice. And these points can be redeemed when it accumulated to a certain amount. The users can get free cash vouchers to shop in Tesco. So by this way, we could encourage people to use more recycled bags instead of plastic bags, and Tesco can save material costs in plastic bags and also attract more sales for Tesco. Next, we have weighted scoring model here with an example. Suppose our key business objective is to reduce the use of plastic bags in Tesco, and we have three available choice of project implementation. First is if we replace the plastic bag with biodegradable bag. Second is to maintain the no plastic bag campaign from the government as is already ongoing. Or third, we implement the EcoBag project we mentioned just now. Here we have given three major criteria that are important to the project. The first one is to see if the project support the key business objectives, and seems all these projects are equally fulfill this criteria, so they are getting the same score. Next, we see if the project will be difficult to implement. Seems the biodegradable plastic bag will be more difficult because the biodegradable bag can only load not much weight, which means very limited number of products. Although the EcoBag has some difficulty in implementation, but compared to biodegradable bag, it is much more usable. Then for the sustainability, we have similar reasons to score each project. So after the calculations, we can see that EcoBag gained the highest score, which means higher chances in success. It is also important to focus on the needs and funds in order to make a successful project management. Here we have identified the project needs and available funds for an example. For example, we can foresee that the project will need the workload, human, material, technical resources, time, budget, and some fault tolerance like the ability to work offline, the backup processes for managing the risk, and so on. And in the available funds, we can see that in future, this project could seek some financial support from the government incentives or the project grants, from financial loan or from some organization like My Casa Foundation and so on. Identify the needs and available funds for the project will lay a foundation of thinking so that the team will not be lost and have clear guidelines what needs to be done.
Hi, Doctor. I'm Wei Xin. So next, I'm going to present the rest of the criteria for a successful 4IR project. So first is about the balance scorecard as example. So here we actually based on the one of the target supermarket that we selected. So this supermarket they are going to implement the projects that related to the gold drink activities. So and based on the analysis from the previous slide, we can see that the EcoBag is actually being selected as the project that they are going to implement. So here we have the balance scorecard to actually help the organization to convert the values that they want to deliver and help them to select and manage the project where is it this project is actually aligned with the business strategy. So you can see that at first we know the mission of the company. So they actually have some of the vision, and we can see that one of the vision which is being connected here. Yeah, so this one is actually related to the goals that they want to achieve, which is they want to collaborate, challenge, and value each other to be the best they can. And also another point is the be curious, where they actually focus on making something that is innovative. So from here we can actually see that eco-bag kind of concept is actually what related to these two vision and the goals. So they try to actually implement and collaborate with other parties such as like government's plan to implement the go green activities, and they try to put in some of the innovative in the project, so that it is quite in overall is quite an interesting project. And next we have the project shuttle. So this project shuttle is actually to set out all the details of the EcoBag project that going to implement. So this example shown that normally we need to have the project title there, and also start date and end date of the project, and stated who is the project manager, and the most important thing is the project objective, which is to encourage the consumer in participating the EcoBag campaign within 1 year by developing a comprehensive system flow and application that's related. And then also stated out some of the approach, how we're gonna carry out this project, and also the roles and responsibilities. And lastly, the sign off of all the above stakeholders. So this project chapter is actually quite important because it actually showing that all the stakeholders, all the people in the organization actually recognize the existence of the project. So everything that is going on later will actually refer back to this. And then next is about scope statement creation. So scope statement creation is also another important component that should have. So in this scope statement creation, normally we need to state out the scope description of the project and project deliverables, which is about what is gonna be the outputs of the overall project. So it's like we have the application system of the EcoBag, and also the training manual for new and existing EcoBag members. So how and also like acceptance criteria. So acceptance criteria is like how we're gonna say that we actually have this project successfully or completed. So this is about the acceptance criteria, and also the constraint that we can see right now like for example, COVID-19 may affect the desired outcome, whereby it might be quite need more time. This is some of the constraint that might have, but it's not necessary that it will happen. Yeah, and then also the assumptions for the project. So the scope statement criteria is also like quite an important component. And then next is about stakeholder analysis. So when running out the whole project, we actually need to involve a lot of people in it, and these people maybe come from different background, they have different knowledge, they have different expert background, etc. And of course they might have different personalities. So that's why we have the stakeholder analysis to actually understand all the people that involved in the project, all the stakeholders that involved in the project, so that it can ease the communication process or during the project running on. So in the stakeholder analysis, we can actually list out all the stakeholders and then understand where they come from and their role and some of the unique facts from them, and then identify their interests, influence, and etc. So yeah. And next is about the WBS, which is another important component for a successful 4IR project. So WBS is actually the work breakdown structure. It can be very, very detailed, but as here we provide an example in a very high level kind of overview. So which is a WBS by phases. So we listed out some of the levels here to actually explain about how the project is going to develop, what kind of work that everyone needs to done. So next is about scope verification or control. So once we have listed out all the work breakdown structure and the people that we need and also the scope of the project, next we also need to know like during the running of the project, how we're going to verify whether the scope is successfully completed, successfully developed, and how we're going to control the whole process. So here is some of the tips that about the scope verification or control, which is for each of the scope that we have, we can always ask about what's the inputs of this scope and then what's the output, expected output, and then check whether this output is achieved or not. So throughout the process, we can implement some of the tools and technique like inspection, where we actually like follow up or check on the progress like that. So in conclusion, for a successful project, 4IR project is mainly determined by three variables, which are time, cost, and quality. And then in short, guidelines for a successful 4IR project included: first, we do a SWOT analysis. From there, we actually also identify the needs and available funds. And from there, we actually can think of a lot of projects from the outcome of these two analysis. And then for each of the project that we think of, we can do the NPV, ROI, or payback analysis, and also the weighted scoring model to actually select the most the highest priority project to do it, and then we can have the balance scorecard to actually check whether the project that we selected is actually aligned with the business strategy or goals or missions. And then after that, once we actually confirm that what kind of project that we want to do, we need to have a project charter to actually like listed out all the important things of the project, like the roles and responsibility. And lastly, and next we need to have the scope statement also to actually list out the scope of the project and stakeholder analysis, and then WBS by phases. And lastly, we also need to know how we're gonna verify and control the scope of the project. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much.